Hi, friends. I hope you can hear me and see me okay. I was having some issues starting this live. I have a very special guest. I hope he's still around to join us. I really hope he will join us. He is a multimillionaire. He is a business owner, a very successful one. And I'm delighted to have him join us today so that we can talk about financial literacy, about money, about business, about teaching kids money. So let's hope he joins us. His name is John Lee, and if you haven't heard of him, he is absolutely a phenomenal entrepreneur and a businessman. And he has the most incredible tips on how to actually start your business. And I see John is actually online, so hopefully he'll be joining us soon. Let me see if I can actually bring him up. Let's see if I can bring him up. Hi, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh my gosh, it's going okay. I mean, well, now that you're here, I had such a hard time starting this live, and we were supposed to start 15 minutes ago, so I really
That's okay.
apologize. Technology can be so unpredictable, but I am really grateful that you're here. So I was just telling everybody, you are one phenomenal human being. I've learned so much from you. You are a multimillionaire, very successful entrepreneur, and I'm absolutely delighted to have you here because I know that we can all learn so much from you. So welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And what I love about what you're doing with financial literacy with kids is phenomenal. I mean, just the way you're able to articulate how kids are taught money, because at school, I was never taught money at school. They didn't teach me how to invest. In fact, one of the things that people always said to me, Maya, was always save for a rainy day, which actually, I mean, it was good advice at the time. But in today's day and age, it's not really about saving, it's about taking what you earn and multiplying it and investing it. So I'm super excited to be in this live session to really share some insights as well. I know a lot of my community has just joined as well. So thank you so much for being part of this. I don't do many of these live sessions, so you're in for a treat today.
I feel very honored because I know that you don't do them. So I am extremely grateful. And that's why, like, when the technology wasn't working out, I was really freaking out. I don't think my kids have ever seen me freak out before alive like this before. But anyways, let's jump into it. So you didn't learn about money in school. Did you learn it from your parents?
Well, I learned it really by making mistakes. I mean, I was earning some okay money. So I started, my first job was making 21,000, and then I got a second job which made me 26,000, and then my third job which earned me 36,000, and my fourth job that I was going to take but I turned down because I became an entrepreneur, and that was $65,000. So, but what I realized is the more money that you earn, the more money you spend. And especially, I'm from London, as you know, and central London is not cheap. It's actually quite expensive. So I kind of learned money by, I guess, making mistakes. And I think what I realized is that, because if you try and, like, okay, let's do a little calculation here. So I was getting about around 3,000 per month, right? But if you, like, I always wanted to be a millionaire. So if you do a million, right, and let's say you can save, like £300, that's how much I was like saving for disposable income. Well, that's going to take you 3,333 months. So it doesn't quite work to save that up. You'd be over the age of 100 before you actually become a millionaire. So that's when I realized that. I remember the first house that I bought for 85,000, and I sold it for 185,000, made 100,000 like that. And I was like, oh my God, do you know how long it would take to save £100,000? That's when I had that aha moment, Maya. It's like, oh, moment. I'm sure you've had them before as well, right?
But this is what I love about your mind. I always say you have very special mind. You think very differently than other people. So what you just did there is, like, you pulled out a calculator. You're like, okay, I'm saving 300 pounds a month. How long is it going to take me to become a millionaire? And you did that calculation. I think most people don't do that calculation. Most people go by what other people tell them, save your money. and that's it. They don't go beyond that. So tell us a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey. I mean, and maybe first talk about like your real estate journey, because you've accomplished so much, and I'm really proud that you're here, that you're going to share that with us.
Well, some simple rules in real estate, like, I didn't do very well at school. So, my grades were, D's and C's, and I was like, yes, I got a C. And so, I don't know, I just got into the thing that I thought was the easiest to do. And this is going to sound really bad when I say it. And please, for those of you watching, please don't be offended. Um, you don't have to be that smart to get rich, right? And
Mm.
I know this is going to sound really bad. Like, you don't have to, and that's why I kind of got into real estate, because it's like you buy low and you sell high. You just follow some really simple principles. And I thought to myself, well, anyone can buy a property. You don't have to be, Elon Musk. You don't have to have an IQ, a very high IQ. In fact, I didn't do so well at school either,
I
and
know you're dyslexic,
I'm
right?
dyslexic. I am dyslexic. Yeah. I mean, if you look at all the comments and all my posts, there's always like, when I posted it because there's lots of spelling mistakes. My team has posted it because it's all grammatically correct.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's so interesting, because do you think that people overthink money sometimes, or they just get so freaked out about it, and maybe they're emotionally involved in it? Like, is that what prevents more people from becoming
I just
millionaires?
I think the first thing, mate, is the belief. In fact, a millionaire now is actually nothing special. It really isn't. I mean, you see kids right now who are playing games, and they're making millions. There's Ryan's Toys who makes like 50 million a year just opening toys. So being a millionaire is not cool anymore. Being a billionaire, now that's cool.
Right.
So I think the first thing is, I think people have to overcome the belief. And this is why I love what you're doing, teaching kids. And I know you've got an incredible club. And by the way, if anyone in my community, if you have kids, make sure that you check out some of the things that Maya's doing as well. She's got incredible work when it comes to teaching kids about money and finances. Now, do you know, there's a lot of high savings interest accounts. So, for example, back in the day, there were accounts that paid you 10%, but that is what we're using fiat money. So fiat money is when you're able to put a dollar and then you get some money back. But in today's world, we have decentralized finance. So there are savings accounts, which is, slightly high risk, but they're giving you 0.5% a day.
Oh,
In fact,
wow.
you know what? I'm testing something, and I'm so glad that all of you joined this. I'm going to go into one of my accounts. Let me see how much money I've made, just from interest from doing nothing. Right. So I'm going to log into the account. So by the way, if you're all joining, make sure that you share this with people as well. So let me get in.
And this is what I love about John. Like, when he talks, he's like, let me just show you this. This is real. I'm not making this up. So he will actually pull things up. He'll show us things. So just watch, guys. This is awesome. He's incredible. And by the way, make sure you follow him. All of my followers, make sure you follow him and check out all the resources he has. He has a
All
lot of
right.
free
All right.
resources.
I don't know how I'm going to turn this around, but let me see. Okay, so I just logged into one of my DeFi accounts, and this is something I've been testing, like literally over the last couple of weeks. But you can look at this. Right, let me bring this down a little bit. Sorry, I'm trying to use my tripod here. All right, so you can see I deposited. So if I go into this, right, so I deposited 12,000. But if you look at how much it's making, like the available balance, so basically this 12,000 is, the 12,227 is my deposit. That's how much money I've put in, right? But if you look at how much I'm accumulating 0.5%. So that means the interest that gets on this goes back into the balance and it compounds, right? So for example, that is a good example of a super high savings, but a lot of people don't know about it because they haven't ventured into Web3, they haven't ventured into decentralized finance. See, the banks are really old school now,
Right.
so one of the compounding strategies is if you have a child that's born, like for example, my daughter, she's quite rich now for a kid. So literally the money that we make, business creates cash flow investor creates wealth, and then we put it into high savings. So by the time she's 18, she'll be a multimillionaire without daddy's money.
That's incredible. And how are you teaching her? Like, what are you doing? Because how old is she now?
She'll be 6 this year. Yeah.
6. Are you teaching her or about money or not yet? You will be teaching her.
It's funny because so downstairs in our lounge where our TV is, we have 3 sofas, and then one of the sofas is basically covered with, like, she's made it into her shop. So it says shop is now open, and she's got all these things on the sofa that she's selling. So I'm teaching the very basics of like whenever we go out, when I'm buying stuff for her, I never pay for it on like a credit card. I'll always, the money that she gets from grandparents and aunties and uncles. So we make sure she takes that out, and so she can count. She's like, okay, so this Barbie doll is, £30, right? Oh, God, when I say that, they got more expensive nowadays. Like £30 for a Barbie doll. And then we look how much money she's got. She's got a £50 note. So I say to her, okay, how many of these can you buy? So I make her take it to the counter, and then I make her put the money down, and then we get the money in exchange. So now she's getting less money back. And it's actually better if you place it into pound coins. So pound coins are also really good for that as well.
Right. So you're doing it visual so that she can actually understand the exchange.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly. Because if you've got a tub full of £50 coins, and every time you buy something, it's going, you're teaching her that, oh, money can deplete.
That's right. Yeah. And will you be teaching her about real estate as she gets older?
Well, she already owns real estate in central London already. So
Oh, in
like
central London, she's the one rich kid.
Yeah, so for me, because do you know why I strategically bought it there? Because she will be going to school in central London, right? And what I find is that when you're paying for your university, I mean, in the UK we have to pay a lot of money for fees. I'm sure in the US you do as well, and in Canada you do as well. So what most people do, they go to university, they pay all these fees, and they come out with a lot of debt, right? And it's the problem with the debt is they have to spend all their life paying it off, and they're not really making that much money. Plus, there's interest on that as well. But what if you could buy them a property, and then now instead of paying for real estate that you got to pay for, she actually has her own place to live in, and that's actually paying off the mortgage. So by the time she leaves university, she can now take equity from that property and use that to pay off, some debts and things like that. So it's just a much smarter move, and it's a much better investment.
I like that. I actually met a couple. They were doing that for they have 3 kids, and whenever one child, each of the children were born, they would buy them a property, and the property was paying itself off, and there was some leftover money, and that leftover money they were just saving or investing. I can't remember, but the idea was that this was going to finance and help them with their educational expenses as they get older.
Yeah, but not only that, it's also a step up on the property ladder because the debt's getting paid down. So if you can pay it all off, even better. So by the time they have a family, they can use that as a deposit to put into a property, which they can now, here's the key. You don't take the money from that to buy your own property. You still live in it, or you can rent it out. You take that money, you buy an investment property. That investment property produces rental income. You take the rental income to pay off your mortgage with the house that you're living in. That's actually the best way to do it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And what about entrepreneurship? Like, will you be teaching her how to become an entrepreneur? Already she has a store, right? So that's, I guess, the first step for her to, start her own business.
Well, what I'm going to do is, she loves to draw. So what we're going to do is that we're going to have her do some drawings. And then what I love her to do is to, sell these to the family members as well.
Perfect.
So they can invest in these paintings. And that's why if you look at when NFTs came out, you could actually take a design, put it on an NFT, tokenize it, print it onto a t-shirt, and then sell the t-shirt as a token.
Oh, I love that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so,
do you own some NFTs still?
I do, yeah, I do. Well, I invested in a big company which owns all the big companies like OpenSea, Coinbase, and they've invested heavily into a lot of these companies. So, but NFT is not that big around. The transaction volume's gone down, but you got to look at how the kids can make money, right? For example, you look at Roblox. Like a lot of kids are playing Roblox. For example, my daughter's learning coding as well. So she's coding, she's learning sequencing and all that kind of stuff because I want her to think strategically. Like if you look at what's going to be big in the future. So if we look at, I'm when we look at like Gen Z and I'm a millennial forward slash on right on the border there. But I think my daughter, I don't know what you call them. Is it Gen something? I
I
forget
think
what it's
they're
called.
Gen X. Is it Gen? No, no, it's not
No,
Gen
you've got
X.
millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, and then you've got something else. There's one for
Yeah.
kids. I forget what it's called. But their generation, they're not really going to have to work because you've got artificial intelligence. So
Right.
now, so now what I'm doing, I'm going to teach my daughter how to train AI as well. So, for example, there's something called ChatGPT. I don't know if anyone's heard of ChatGPT, but GPT is basically the generative language transformer. And every single one of us can have a GPT, right? So, for example, a lot of people when they ask me questions, oh, John, like what property should I buy in London? Or John, I've got this product, how do I sell it? Well, my GPT, as in when you type into Chat GPT and it gives you answers?
Right.
Well, every single one of us have our personal GPT.
Oh,
Yeah,
like based on our
correct.
responses or whatever.
Correct, exactly. So all the questions you ask me now, so I'm going to take this interview. So once we finish this, download this, send it to me, right? And then I'll put it into a software called Descript, and I'll say monitor speaker two. So it'll just track my voice. It'll transcribe my entire voice. I'll take that content, I'll put that into my GPT, like johnlee.ai, and then I'm going to be training it. So I'm probably going to spend the whole year training it. I'll give it probably 1 to 2 hours of training every single day. So, it needs about 4,000 hours of training though. So I'm up to about probably 25 hours
That's
now.
incredible. And then you will use it for your business, and
Yeah.
probably your employees can go to it and ask it questions, and you will be basically will be answering their questions like you would.
Well, here's the scary thing. Talking about kids, how do you leave legacy, right? So, do you know one of the biggest things, like, when I'm doing my trust, right? And, we do, estate planning. So people always look at, oh, how much, all this money, who are you going to give it to? Or this watch, who are you going to give it to? Who are you going to give the car to? And they always focus on that as the valuables, but I don't think that the valuable is. My valuable is going to be my artificial intelligence. Because now,
Oh.
I'll be able to train my kids, kids, and my kids forever. And because it'll have new information, it'll completely do generative AI. And then what's really scary is I can take that AI, which is the brain, I can put it into a robot and I can skin a robot that looks like me.
Oh my gosh, that's freaky.
Yeah, so imagine right now, John Lee's talking to you.
Maybe AI John Lee is talking to me. I don't know now. I need to be questioning that. Yeah, yeah. Somebody was asking, hang on one second. I think there was a quick question as you were speaking. What was that software once again, John, that you will put this in? So,
Oh, so if so, there's Descript.
the
Descript
script.
can, yeah, Descript is really good. Really,
Mm-hmm.
really, really good.
Okay, that's incredible. It's really interesting because I feel like we're on this brink of like completely different way of doing things and business and everything with AI. Can you talk to us a little bit more about like how else you're utilizing AI in your business and in your life?
So AI is, for example, if any of you are really busy, how many of you watching this right now, you're like really busy, you have no time, right? So one thing that you can do, you can put AI into your calendar now and it'll reorganize everything around and it'll prioritize what you want to do first. And it'll even have your sort of focus time as well to implement things. Do you know why people don't take action? Because they never put focus time in the calendar. It's always tasks to do. I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. But they never put in, the small part. So, which is the focus time.
So
So this is why I
uh,
think,
go ahead. No, no, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
so this is why I think it's so important for people to AI. In fact, you know what? Wait there for a second. So this is a magazine. It's called Success Magazine. All right. And it's a big magazine. This just came out this month. And it's interesting because you talk about that because I did a whole article on AI. So
Incredible.
So if any of you go to Barnes and Noble, So I just did a whole article on, like what are the best AI tools to use. So, but this just came out this month. So if you're at Barnes and Noble, if you're at any newspaper store, just go and grab yourself a copy of this. This is Steve Aoki. He also used a lot of AI for his business as well. And that's why he's a multi-millionaire. He's a huge artist.
That's actually really interesting because I was at my kids' school's parent council last night, and there was this big debate about AI and especially Chat GPT, because what the school started doing, or actually the school board, they're making kids now go back and write everything, handwrite everything, because they don't want them using technology, they don't want them using
Okay, let
AI.
me ask
And
you a
so,
question then. What's this?
right, it's a calculator,
Why
right?
do,
Yeah.
what's the point of having a calculator?
Sorry, what's the question?
What's the point in having a calculator?
So you can calculate things
Right.
like,
So
yeah,
I think the schools are making a mistake. The schools should be encouraging kids to use AI, to prompt AI in the right
thank
way.
you.
Not to go back to Stone Age and have to, like learning the times table. What's the point? It makes no sense to learn the times table. Like I can ask my AI, hey, what's 6 times 6? Right? And it'll tell me. Right? So I mean, yes, basic maths you want to use, but I think we should be getting our kids to prompt it to be able to get more from it, to do much more calculated um, mathematics, to work
Yeah.
out things that are going to be life changing.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that I was saying during the meeting. I explained my opinion is that AI is not going away. And if we don't train our kids how to use it, our kids are going to be obsolete. They need to know how to use this to do their jobs. So, when it comes to essays, maybe fine, like let them write their own essay and then put it through Chat GPT, and then Chat GPT can fix it for them, and then they can look at the two versions and see why Chat GPT is better. Maybe they can learn that way, or I don't know, there are other ways, but I just feel like going back to pen and paper and like ignoring the AI, I think it's a big mistake.
Yeah, look, prompting is like, it's funny because in this article, when I did the interview for Success Magazine, they asked me the question, do I think AI is going to take over people's jobs? And the answer is no. AI will not take away people's jobs. It's the people that know how to use AI will take away people's jobs. So actually,
Right.
what we will be doing, all the mundane tasks that, for example, honestly, like cooking. I mean, cooking is, okay, people use it sometimes because they want to relax. But there's other ways to relax. But there's robots now that can cook food for you. There's robot arms, right? You just put it's interesting because a robot can watch you make a coffee and it can do all the recordings of how you did the coffee and then remake you the coffee.
Really? What kind of
Yes.
robot is that?
Well, it's a massive thing that was out on, I think, with Boston Robotics or something like that. I
Oh,
just saw a whole
wow.
video of it. It was insane because now they have eyes that can see, like ChatGPT can see, right? If you put an image in there and it says the word, success, right? It will be able to read it as success as a
Wow.
picture.
So I have to say, part of it scares me, part of it excites me. I just, the part that scares me is like, how far are we going to go? And is it going to hurt humanity? But then there's the exciting part where, like, I've used Chat GPT before and I find it very helpful. And I find technology helpful. I mean, period, right? Like, we're talking on the phone and, you're in UK, I'm in Canada, and we're having this conversation and people are joining from all over the world. So it's exciting, but it's also, I think, to me, it's scary. Do you find it scary at all or no?
I just think right now we're living in a position where, like you say, it's inevitable. It's like the matter. Years ago, I said to people, "You need a website." I'm not getting a website. I'm not getting a website. Well, if you don't have a website, you can't be found. You're invisible, right? So, like you say, it's inevitable. So why fight against it when we should be
Right.
working with it? I don't think it's this or this. I think it's this and this.
Right. Actually, I like that. I like that approach. It's this and
Yeah,
this and AI. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. That's
yeah.
amazing.
I've got connection. For some reason it's saying connection. Can you bring me back in if it
Yeah.
cuts off?
Absolutely. Oh, there we go. I think he just got cut off, but we're going to bring him back in when he comes in. So I'm just going to wait for him to join. I hope you're enjoying this conversation. I know that there are some questions, so feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm just waiting for John to join again, and then I'm going to bring him up. Oh, there he goes. Hi.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about
Okay,
that.
no, that's okay. I was just going through some questions. People were asking, how did you save up for your first property? Where did that money come from?
So here's the thing: if you don't have the money, you have to raise the money. There's never a lack of money. There's only a lack of creativity. So one of the biggest things that you want to do, you want to find people who've got the money. So actually, I crowdfunded it when I first started. So okay, I'll tell you exactly the story. So I found this property and was on the market for 185,000, and by a miracle, I was able to negotiate it to 85,000. So the first thing I did is I was like, well, I wonder if this person would sell it to me. And in my mind, I was like, there's no way they're going to sell it at a discount, but they did. So you know what I did? I started to go into all these networking events, and I found investors, right? And I met a lady, and her name was Karen Rutter, and she put me in touch with another lady called Shirley Wheeler, who was a multi-millionaire. And I said to her, I said, look, I've got this property. To cut a long story short, she gave me £85,000 cash, right? Obviously, I gave her security on that. I took that 85,000 to buy the property cash. And then, because the property was worth 185,000, I refinanced it at 85% of 185, and I got back £157,000 by refinancing it. So then I took the 157,000 and I gave back the 85,000, and I was left with 72,000 cash. So I actually got paid to buy the property.
Wow, that's such an incredible story. So, okay, where does the courage come from to do that?
The
Because
courage.
that's like it's a scary thing to do, especially if you've never done it before, especially if never ever like nobody ever shared it with you.
Well, here's the thing. Well, first of all, I did get a mentor, so you must always learn. That's why you should always, join, Maya's club and,
And
and learn from the stuff that she
your
shares.
club is phenomenal. Clubs, you have multiple.
I appreciate it. Well, we're actually launching a new club called Success.club. So if any of you would love to learn more about success, you want to learn about more passive income, you want to learn about business entrepreneurship, head over to Success.club and you can check out some of the details there as well. But one of the things I realized is anything you go into, this is always scary. It's always fearful. And you never really have the courage. So then where does the courage come from? Courage is nothing more than a feeling of belief, really, right? But where do you get the belief from? Belief comes from certainty. So where do you get certainty from? Certainty comes from knowing. And the only way you know is by doing and learning. So one tip I can give to everybody, and again, I made my first millionaire at the age of 27, is every single day I was doing, learning, doing, learning, doing it. And I was just doing those two things. That's it. And
Right.
now I've invested in 25 companies, and four of them are now $1 billion in valuation. So
That's incredible. So now it's like you've moved from having your own companies. I mean, you still have your own company
yeah,
and you have other entrepreneurship ventures, but you've actually become an investor. You're looking for these companies that are growing and you're investing in them.
yeah. I mean, for example, and that's why I like to put out a lot of content. And people say, John, why do you give a lot of great content? Are you not charged for this? I mean, sometimes we do, but I always like to give away a lot of stuff for free, and in a hope that somebody takes the information. Like, for example, yourself, Maya, we met, probably just under 12 months ago. You took the knowledge, you started this incredible membership site teaching kids, and you've now got paying clients who are now, learning some great knowledge from you. But in exchange, you also get to monetize from that as well. And I think it's great because it's a win-win. And so I want to work with people who have a great message, who really want to help support people. And then my business model is I help them. And if I help them make more money, they give me money.
That's right. Yeah. You get
Yeah.
paid for your time for helping them and being their
But also
mentor. And how do
equity as well.
yes.
Equity. I mean, like now, I made, so I did my first IPO in 2019. So I took a company to the stock exchange. And if I could turn back time, I probably wouldn't do that. I would, instead of taking one company public, I would have probably put my time, my 15 years into, instead of one company, into 100 different companies. And these 100 companies all make 10 million each, right? And then I can just go in and advise and spend some time and open some doors, make some introductions, raise some money for them. And now I can sit back and be on the beach and do what I want to do and just be inspired to go into the next company.
That's actually really interesting because it's I love, like, you know, what you've learned, and now like you're sharing that with everybody. You're kind of like, hey, you know, don't do this, do this, because it makes more sense. And I think also, I guess I'm guessing like 15 years to put into a company, that's a lot of hard work. And not that the other stuff is not hard work, but it's probably a little bit more fun and it's more entertaining because you're going from one company to another and you're advising them on what they need to do, and but you're not the one doing the work.
You've hit the nail on the head. I think I've got to that age now where I'm like, you know, I'm happy with the things I've got. You know, I'm a father as well, so I want to spend more time with my family. So now I get to fly around the world and I get to meet my portfolio companies. Well, for example, I'm meeting one tomorrow, and this is going to be, I'm going to tell you about this one. I'll send you a private message on this, but it's
Okay.
insane. It's going to be, imagine you got paid to watch ads. Imagine you got paid to be on social media. And that, when you're being on social media, you get to earn credits, and the credits can be converted into cash.
Okay, I want to know
That's
more.
that's the next evolution, because before we were living in a data economy. It's all about data. Now it's all about attention. So even people are getting, you know, people are coming in and out of this. We'll probably have maybe, you know, 3,000 or 4,000 people, as you know, going in and out of this as well as we're live. But you know, even though we are not charging people to be on this, it's still costing them money and time. So we have to give great value to make sure people get the value so they can do something with it.
That's right.
So even if it's free, there's a cost. So now we're living in the attention economy. So this is what we call a watch to earn, or interact to earn. And that's amazing. This is where the future is moving to. So the traditional business that you and I know is like create a product, sell a product, make money. That will be abolished in the next 10 to 20 years. It's all going to be based on community and tokenization.
So these would be like, basically people would be paid to watch something, make comments.
I'll give an
Yeah,
example. Have you ever watched a YouTube video before? Before the video plays, you see an advert that plays before it,
right.
right? So
Yes,
the person who made money was the creator who made the money, right?
that's
But
right.
imagine if it was flipped the other way around, because when you see the ad, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to skip it, right? But
Right.
imagine if it's the other way around. Now the ad plays, I want to watch it because I'm getting paid to watch it.
That's so interesting. I'm trying to wrap my head around
I
this new
know, right?
business.
So when the founder sat down with me, she told me about it. I was like, I don't understand. Like, like, it was so hard to. This is
To,
why. This is why we have to think differently. This is
yes.
why I love what you're teaching kids. This is why I love what you're doing with your membership, with your club, because you are now able to get experts to pass this knowledge on to the next generation, and
That's
that
why
is.
I love watching your stuff, because I'm always learning something new, and like you're always making me
Oh,
think very, very different. So it's, you know, really like enlightening every time. Like literally, and the first time I heard you speak was in Clubhouse, and I remember I think I was like doing something and I stopped and I was like, I need to sit down. I need to listen to this guy. This guy has something to say, and it's really important. And so that's why I think everybody, you guys, if you're my followers, make sure you follow John, because you're going to learn so much from him.
I
But like,
appreciate that.
what would you suggest? So let's say somebody wants to start a business right now. What would be your advice to
Honestly,
them?
the easiest way to do it, learn artificial intelligence and create what we call a service-based done for you business. What does that mean? I can go to AI now and say, make me a website that looks like Shopify, and it will create it. And I wish we had our big screen so I could actually share my screen and show people. This is what I do at my live events, by the way. If any of you are free this weekend, just comment the word event below, EVENT. I've got a summit coming up this weekend. So if you comment the word event, what I'll do is I'll send you a free ticket so all of you can learn this on a big screen because it's quite hard to do it on a small screen. But effectively what you do is you go to this website, it's called Hostinger, and Hostinger will basically prompt you. This is why I have to learn prompting. So the prompt is, what do you want this AI to do? Make me a website that looks like Shopify that is designed for chiropractors. So now it creates it for you on AI, and now you take that website and you say to a chiropractor, you just call them up, right? In fact, there's AI now that can call, like literally, you can tell AI to find all the chiropractors for me. So they find all the chiropractors in Toronto or in Vancouver or in London. And then there's another AI software called Air.io, and Air will make a phone call to you and it will call that person up. And when they pick up the phone, it will speak to them in AI.
My gosh. Wow.
It's insane. So that's one thing that people can do straight away. And then once you take that website, you can just sell it to them for like $1,000.
That's incredible. And all the work is done for you, basically. You're just kind of overseeing it and managing it, and you're making money.
Exactly
Yeah.
that. Exactly. And that's what
And
I love
I,
about technology. Because anyone can do it now. You don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to be a genius. If you can copy and paste, you can do this.
yeah. And that's why I feel like we need to be teaching our kids this kind of stuff, because otherwise I feel like we're doing them this service, keeping them away from it. I think that they can really learn, and kids are so smart. Like they will figure out ways of like using this technology probably even better than us, right?
I'll give you an example. So my daughter loves unicorns and loves princesses. Right? Two things. So now there's AI where our kids can draw through thoughts. So
What?
we can think what it is, and as long as they're articulate and they can write. So my daughter would say, draw me a unicorn next to a princess, and then the AI would draw it for her. And I say, baby, do you like the pink dress or do you want to have the red dress? And then, oh, I want red. Okay, tell the AI you want red dress. I would like the princess to wear a red dress, and it redraws it again. So imagine how kids
Wow.
can have the skill set. Not even that, like even languaging, right? So now, all of you in the US, you're very lucky because Apple just announced that you can now pre-order the Vision Pro for February delivery. What does that mean?
Wow.
So the Vision Pro, so imagine you and I doing this live now, but now you're on a little screen, right? So imagine right now, you and I have got our Vision Pros on, and everybody watching's got their Vision Pros on, and they'll see you and me in like human form like this, like a hologram in front of them.
Wow.
So that is,
Wow.
I'm telling you, you need to adapt. If you don't adapt, you'll die, right? It's not the strongest or the most intelligent species that survive. It's the most adaptable species that survive. And I think that's what people have to do, right? We've got to
Yeah.
do new things to get new results. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's incredible, what you just said about drawing. I actually learned that Canva now has an option where you can also ask it to draw for you or do like a little video. The drawing part is a little bit faster. I remember like my son showed it to me and I was like, oh, draw a blue cat. And it actually gave me like 6 different images of a blue
Okay,
cat. Um,
I'm going to give you something. Okay, this is for all your community who join. I always like to reward people for attending these live sessions. I appreciate a lot of you joining us late in the UK and maybe a bit earlier for those of you in the US and especially those of you in Asia. I always want to reward people for showing us. So I'm going to give one of the best strategies that people pay me $5,000 an hour to consult with companies. So there's an AI company called Genius.ai. And Genius.ai, by the way, full transparency, I'm an investor of this company, but the reason why I invested is you'll see in a second. You can take any product. Let's say I've got these AirPods, right? I can take these AirPods and I can go into Genius.ai and say, write me a website that's going to sell this. And you see how it writes it. Oh my God, it's so good. Then you can go to all these sites like Vinted. I don't know if any of you heard of Vinted. Vinted's like an eBay. Like Vinted, eBay. Basically, you can sell stuff on there. So what you do is you take a product, use AI, and then you go to like eBay, Vinted, Facebook Marketplace, you post it there, and people go and buy it. You make money. Then you just send it to them in your
wow.
post.
See, this is why I love talking to you. All these like business ideas. If anybody needs to make money, this is how you do it. You can even have your kids do this.
Exactly
I mean,
that.
it's
Like
wonderful.
all the rubbish you have in your house that you don't want. Like, my wife's been kicking me. Like, I bought these Louis Vuitton shoes that I never wear. Right? They're like £500 each. For each pair, and they're taking up space in her walk-in wardrobe. She's like, get rid of them. So I'm like, I'm gonna get my daughter to say, okay, take a picture of these, put it into ChatGPT, and say, write me. Again, here's the prompt. I'm going to be posting this on Facebook Marketplace to sell these pair of shoes. They've been unworn. Write me a description of these trainers in order to get someone to pull their credit card out to buy it.
Amazing. It's all
So
about the prompt.
it's
It's
all
all
about the
about the prompt
prompts.
and how you phrase it.
You got it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got it.
John, you're so amazing. I don't want to keep you any longer. I mean, I wanted to make this an hour, but we're already coming up to the top of the hour, and I do apologize for my technology issues. But okay, so first of all, please, before you go, tell us what you're hosting next, what events, what freebies you have, where can people find you? I know you started a YouTube channel, so tell everybody all that before we end this live.
Well, first off, you haven't done so, click the link at the top where it says Kids and Money. If you click that, you'll see Maya's and my profile. Make sure you follow Maya as well because she's incredible teaching. Because she's
Thank
also
you.
successful herself and the career she's been in, investments, and all those strategies. So make sure that you do follow her. But if you follow me as well, if you go to my profile later, you'll see my bio link. And I've got lots of free. I've got, for example, if you want to get started in social media, you want to get millions of followers, you want to build a brand, I've got a free course in there. I have an event coming up this weekend, so we have one there as well. You can get the ticket in my link tree. I have a private VIP group as well, so if you want to join it, any updates. I'll give an example. 18 weeks ago on my Threads profile, I made a post like this, right? With a bull in the back. And my caption was, get ready for it. What does that mean? A bull run is coming. At that point, Bitcoin was, I think it was like 20, I think it was like 19 at the time, and then it shot up to 47,000
Oh, wow.
per, it was insane. So, I always like to give people some of my insights. And by the way, I'm not giving financial advice. This is just my thoughts. But, 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty accurate because I do a lot of research and I get a lot of my friends telling me what's happening next. So but if they go to my link tree or if you comment the word event here, I know some of you did that before. And what I'll do is I'll send you a link to my event and you can attend it this weekend. But I've got a lot of stuff. If you go to my profile, go to my link tree, you have my YouTube channel's in there as well. So if you want to get more longer form content, you can check that out, my new YouTube channel as well.
Is your event as well in your link tree?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
is. Okay.
It's the first link. So if they click on Linktree, it'll say John Lee's next event. Click on that, and then for my community and also my community, it'll be a free complimentary ticket for you to attend.
Perfect. Wow. Thank you so much, John. I'm so delighted that you were able to join me and talk to us and share all this insightful information. I wish you a really good evening and all the best. And we'll connect soon again. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Bye.